we question it. If it's policy, we break it down. And if it's propaganda, we cut right through it. Every story, every voice, every fact under the spotlight. Because Nigerians don't need noise, they need clarity. So if you're tired of spin and ready for sense, welcome.
I'm Maryann Okon, and this is Hard Facts.
Nigeria Info 99.3. Let's talk. This is Hard Facts.
99.3 Nigeria Info is the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station. We are broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Itami and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. Welcome to the show. It's a full show today. Well, yes, because I Beg to Differ comes back on Monday. So we've got today all to ourselves. How about that? I love it. Anyway, so good to have you join us. We're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. You can join the conversation on X. Use the hashtag Hard Fact. You can also join us on WhatsApp. It's 0809597585. Yes, and the only people who are allowed to call on WhatsApp Live is those who are listening to us from the abroad. Those in the diaspora, yes, you are the only ones who are allowed, but every other person is allowed to send a message to our WhatsApp portal. My name is Maryann Okon. I hope that you've had a great week so far. And of course, we're starting the conversation with the big three stories for today. And then on the 4 o'clock hour, I'll be joined by the Executive Director of Education Above All, a Qatari-based NGO that works with school children here in Nigeria. And they'll be talking about these incessant kidnappings and what this whole insecurity thing is doing to our education in Nigeria. And so on the 5 o'clock hour, I'll talk to one of our very good friends who also is a political analyst that joins us here. He's also an economist, an energy expert, who's also from Benue State, one of the states that's bedeviled by this, killings and terrorism. To give us a close, more like a personal touch, and that's me trying to look for the best way to describe it. Give us a better insight into what's happening in these areas as opposed to the propaganda, the window dressing, and maybe what the media is telling you. He's going to be giving us a clearer sense of what's happening in those areas and the trauma that the people are having to deal with. So it's going to be an interesting day of conversations. Once again, welcome to the show. And you know how we start the conversation on Hard Fact. In case you're just wondering, this, ladies and gentlemen, is how we do it.
Get ready for the most important news of the day. It's time for the big three stories on Hard Facts. Tune in to our primetime show for the latest updates and in-depth analysis on the top stories making headlines. From breaking news to in-depth investigations, we bring you the facts you need to know. Join us as we delve into the biggest stories shaping our world today. Tune in to the Big Three every weekday, 3 to 4 p.m. and stay informed with the news that matters the most. Hard Facts, where the truth always comes first.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Facts. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories, you know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Nigeria's biggest decisions start with the hardest questions, and I'm asking them on Hard Facts 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
All right, we're back. Let's look at the big stories for today on Hard Facts 99.3 Nigeria Info. Did I tell you my name? I'm Maryann Okon, and we are live from our audiovisual studios right here in Ismail Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos, right bang in the middle. Yes, let's look at these stories that are making headlines, obviously, on the pages of our national dailies, the ones that you and I are talking about on social media, causing it to trend, and the ones that are debuting right here in our news bulletins for Nigeria Info. United States mulls visa ban over alleged Christian killings in Nigeria. And that's a story from the Punch newspaper. Let's give you some background to that one, and then we'll go on to other stories. There's a lot to unpack today. I've got so many things to run by you, but let's start with this one. Now, of course, the United States State Department of State, the United States Department of State on Wednesday announced measures aimed at addressing what it described as mass killings and attacks targeting Christians in Nigeria. The move signals the US's consideration of visa restrictions against individuals and groups implicated in the violence. The United States is we hear taking a decisive action in response to the mass killings and attacks on Christians carried out by radical Islamic terrorists, Fulani militias and other violent groups in Nigeria and beyond, said the Secretary of State Marco Rubio in a statement. Now, under this policy, implemented through Section T12A, subsection 3 and C of the Immigration and Nationality Act, the State Department can restrict visas for anyone who has directed, authorized, significantly supported, participated in, or carried out violations of religious freedom and, where appropriate, extend the restrictions to their immediate family members. So this is what Marco Rubio is saying, and quoting the Constitution, saying that these measures could be applied to Nigeria and any other government or individuals engaged in violations of religious freedom, underscoring Washington's concern over the rising risks on vulnerable faith communities. But this is not the first time that the US is threatening a visa ban. I beg your pardon. Correct me if I'm wrong. We hear this all the time. It's all corrupt public officials will not be allowed a visa. Hey, we see them flying to the US every other day. Or maybe I'm wrong, US State Department. I might be wrong. So, is this just like one of those screaming games, screaming matches, and then after a while you just say, I was just kidding. Like the Americans would say, just kidding. Or are they serious? How serious are they? Because here's something that I want to play. I've been meaning to play all week. Former Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Shehu Sani, had a few choice words about the situation in the country, across the country, what he thinks is happening and the people who are responsible for it. I want to quickly play that clip, and then let's hope that maybe the US might consider this. Here's Shehu Sani speaking about the insecurity in the country. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. You can watch it there.
People in the northeastern part of Nigeria are not from Congo. They are not from Malawi. They are not from Namibia. They are not from Egypt. They are northerners and they are Muslims. The bandits in the northwestern part of Nigeria, they are not from Senegal. They are not from Mali. They are not from Morocco. They are not from Guinea or Guinea-Bissau. They are Fulanis from the northwestern part of Nigeria. So it is for us to solve the problem. It is not for anybody to solve it.
So that's Shehu Sani there saying it is for us to solve the problem. Former Senator representing Kaduna at the Senate. So again, the US is saying they will not give visas to. There's a visa ban, an outright ban on certain people who are financiers supposedly associated. We're seen with, that's a long list, US. But let's move away from that to the Vanguard newspaper here, where the top story here says no more negotiation on ransom payment to terrorists. Defense Minister General Musa has just been seen by the Senate yesterday. It caused a little bit of a row because someone had stood up to say, well, let's him just go. We know him, he's our guy now. Well, that didn't necessarily go down well with a few people, and for the first time maybe in a long time, the Senate president might just be on the right side for the first time. I know a lot of you might not like it, but hey, he did say some very sensible things, like why should he bow and go at this time? It's a very, very important time in our polity. This is not a time for bowing and go, he said. But let me give you some background to that story, and then we'll go to the senator's video. So this is General Musa, obviously speaking on the floor of the National Assembly. Minister of Defense General Christopher Musa said yesterday that there should be no negotiation with or payment of ransom to terrorists in the country. He also said Nigeria's fight against insecurity would remain ineffective until the country established a unified national database that captured every citizen and linked all security, banking and identity systems together. Oh yeah, that's true, General Musa, but Daniel Bwala says that they're using Starlink, so we may never be able to trace them. General Musa stated these things during his screening as a minister by the Senate. His screening happened on the day the House of Representatives sought open and transparent prosecution of all terrorism-related cases as an effective way of combating a high rate of violent crimes in Nigeria. A lot can be said, but what is being done when these things are being said? Do we see a lot of matching actions with these words? Well, here's the Senate President, Gospel Obudokbabio. I like to call all his names. It's interesting when I do that. Was trying to shut down one of his colleagues on the floor of the National Assembly, calling for a bow and go for General Musa because, of course, he was a CDS. We know him now. What's the essence? And you know that we've had this whole bow and go syndrome over time. Akpabio seems to be on the right side of things for the first time, not making any sinister or cynical remarks or saying stuff that people would frown at for the first time. I guess he would get an applause of sorts. Here's the Senate President on the floor of the National Assembly.
I'd love to ask him questions at a time like this. So if we come here and we do politics of bow and go, this is not a period we should still bow and go. Even Donald Trump is on our neck. We have not yet asked him what his response will be to Donald Trump, the President of America. Yeah.
Okay.
At a time like this,
we've not asked him what he will say to Donald Trump. So that caught my attention. Is General Musa appointed for Donald Trump? Because I would have loved to hear what he would be saying to the president. I didn't realize that the president of Nigeria is now Donald Trump, according to the Senate president, because Donald Trump is on our neck, his neck, not mine anyway. We've not even asked him what he's going to say to Donald Trump. I agreed with him when he said this is not a time where we should tell people to bow and go, but the Donald Trump part rubbed me off wrongly. I don't know about you. Maybe I'm being a bit too sensitive about these issues, but hey. And if the general is saying that, this is no more time for, negotiation and ransom payments, is the government going to come clean about the girls that were released and what happened behind, all of that? Well, according to a caller, did they blow something in the air and all of them slept and they picked the girls and left? I don't know. But there's so many questions to be answered. Here's my last story, and then, of course, I'll open up the phone lines. This one's from the Premium Times newspaper. Top story here says, insecurity, Nigerian lawmakers insist on death penalty for kidnappers as bill passes second reading at the Senate. I made a tweet on this. If you're not following me on Twitter, go look for that tweet. I have plans for my bosses, my CEO. I have plans for my general manager, Femi Obong-Daniels, and my direct boss, Sheriff Quadri. Unfortunately, the Senate is now insisting on death penalty for kidnappers. Well, the anti-terrorism amendment bill passed second reading within a week after lawmakers resolved to classify kidnapping as terrorism. A bill seeking to amend Nigeria's Anti-Terrorism Act to impose death penalty without the option of a fine for kidnapping offences has passed its second reading in the Senate. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio announced the passage during Wednesday's plenary after a majority of senators supported it through a voice vote, meaning that if you kidnap, you will be shot, you might get the needle, but you will die. You will surely die. That's what it means. But do we have what it takes to follow through? Is the bigger question. There's so many questions that need answers. But here is your Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, speaking about these bandits, saying that they're all not criminals. Take a listen. And this video is courtesy this video is courtesy of Channels Television. I beg your pardon. Let me just play it properly so that you can hear what Bello Matawalle has to say.
And it's not all of them are criminal. Not all of them are criminal, because if you know, or maybe if you investigate what is happening or what makes them to take those laws into their hand, some of them sometimes were cheated by so-called Nsakai, and I have to ban completely the Nsakai in my state. Same.
So for those of you who do not know, Nsakai is a vigilante group. So they were cheated and they started killing people and kidnapping people. So isn't that a criminal act, Mr. Minister of State for Defense? I'm sorry. Help me here. Are we playing here? This is your Minister of State for Defense, by the way. He says, not all bandits are criminals. What are they, Mr. Matawalle? Aggrieved members of the public? Join the conversation. 0201-277-0993, 0201-465-7190. We've got to go on a quick break. We'll be right back to take your thoughts and your comments.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Coming soon, an unfiltered conversation with President of the Maleiha Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Baba Njirizarma. What's true, what's misunderstood, and what must change? The unheard voices of Ban, only on Nigeria Info 99.3. Don't miss it.
So, my pregnant wife, Eniola, had her cravings and nothing satisfied her. My neighbor, Mama Amaka, despite our tension, saved the day with amala and abula made with Mr. Chef chicken, all-purpose, and tomato masala cubes. With Mr. Chef, she's my hero.
Savor the taste of culture with a two-finger crush of Mr. Chef's seasoning cubes. Available in beef, chicken, and crayfish seasoning cubes. Mr. Chef, taste home, taste culture.
Welcome to Nigeria Info, where the news sparks conversation.
The Maleiha Cattle Breeders Association has condemned the sanctions against them.
We're like a sour soup waiting for someone to warm up. You have to wake up to the House of Assembly. You have to wake up to the House of Senate.
All this talk about voodoo is nonsense. If I had any authority, I'll fire him.
The football team is as bad as the economy of the country.
If you listen to both ends of the argument, whether it's the one where there is a genocide or the one where there's no genocide.
So ever since they have been saying they have been defeating and killing and the rest of them, it's like what they are just interested in now is who is coming to their party, who is not coming to their party.
So what do we call this one now? Chibok 3.0?
This is your space to listen, share, and be heard. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Understanding Nigeria starts with asking better questions. Hard Facts on Nigeria Info, the nation's #1 talk, news and sports radio station. Let's talk.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three
on Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
And we are broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios here in Victoria Island, Lagos. You can watch and listen to us live from anywhere in the world. Yes, you can also just click on www.nigeriainfo.fm or download the Nigeria Info FM mobile app. That way, even if you are a man on the moon, you can actually be part of the conversation. Well, these are the big three stories for today. In case you're just joining us, the United States government and State Department is mulling over visa bans for Christian killings in Nigeria. In other words, if you have been involved in the killings or terrorist activities whatsoever linked to pointed fingered, no entrance into the US. And talking about MACBAN, I was watching an interview with the MACBAN president on Channels Television this morning. He was trying to make a case for, what's the word now? Open grazing. And in one breath, he's also saying, we welcome animal husbandry, but it will take a process. And while that's happening, what do? He says. Well, but he also says that, if there be any genocide, the genocide is mostly against the herdsmen. And I think if I were sat on that seat and, I was an interviewer, I would have asked the question of, so if you think that there are people who are disguising like you and carrying guns and also rotting cattle from you, because he terms them as people who are illegal miners, and these are the people who rustle their cattle also and take their stuff and make it look like it's them. Well, is it not a good idea if you're taken off the streets and put in a place where you can graze quietly? That way we are able to catch the thieves, the people who are the criminals who are parading themselves as MACBAN. But then he veers off to say that, if Donald Trump is putting out a visa ban, they don't go to the US. They don't care. They don't send their money out in dollars. Besides, they think that Donald Trump has blood on his hands because what has he done about the killings in Palestine? But that's none of my business. What really concerned me was the fact that, why is MACBAN pushing against, this whole Donald Trump saying, we want to deal with the issues? Well, if they have a presentation, just like the presenter said, go make your presentation to Congress. Give your own side of the story. Let there be a balance of sorts. But why are you saying that they should not come and help us sanitize the situation? It was an interesting interview, albeit short, not very long, but I picked a couple of things there. If I am a police officer and people are dressed up like me and carrying out criminal activities, my job is to make sure that we fish them out. Has MACBAN done that? I would love to have an interview with them, but I hear Richie Bakari Yusuf has had a very interesting interview with them, and that interview will be coming to us soon. I'd love to hear what they have to say. Interesting. In the meantime, 0201-277-0993, 0201-465-7190. Join the conversation. On WhatsApp, it's 0809-597-5805. 60 seconds is all you have. Go straight to the point.
Good afternoon, Maryann.
Yes, good afternoon.
You can remember when the Minister of Defense, when the man said the military cannot bomb the forest, that bomb cannot penetrate through forest. What is the Minister of State saying now? That the bandits are good people. People that kill people, that ransack village, you are saying they are good people. It tells you that what the governor of the state where he is before is saying the truth, that he's a member of the bandits. The governor of Zamfara State now is accusing him of sponsoring those bandits. And it does not tell you that he's part and parcel of the bandits. How can you make someone, the Minister of State for Defense, is saying they are good bandits? Can America tell that they are good Al-Qaeda or good Hezbollah, what are they called? Or can Israel tell you that they are good, Palestinians, even when we know they are good ones that they are fighting? You can see how the Minister for State of Defense is not defending bandits just because it's part and parcel of them allegedly collecting ransom. Good afternoon.
Thank you for calling. 0201-277-0993. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Olawale from Aja.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I want to commend the president. At least we'll keep critiquing, but at least somehow, whether it is gingered by Donald Trump's tweet, at least we're now having round pegs in round holes by the ministerial appointments of General Musa. But beyond the rhetorics, we want to see terrorism. I don't know whether they call it banditry or whatever, or kidnapping. It is terrorism.
It's terrorism, one way or the other, yes.
Nigerians are under terror attack, and it must stop. And then for the president, I commend him, and I also want him to ensure that those who are in the IDP camp, how can Nigerians be alien in their own country? They should return back. They should be settled back to their homes. That is where I will see that he is really working.
Okay.
I commend him partially, and I thank him, and I will also thank Donald Trump. He should continue with whatever he's doing.
Thank you very much for calling. All right, thank you very much. 60 seconds is all you have, so I'm going to try to keep to the time, okay? Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, Maryann. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome on the show.
Thank you.
Maryann, I want to ask a question. Why is the Minister for Defense? Why is he still
Minister of State for Defense?
Minister Guinea.
So the man who resigned is the Minister of Defense. The man who's speaking today is the Minister of State for Defense.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Why is Mr. Bello Matawale, why is he still in office? This is what happens.
He's an appointee of the government. What do you mean by why is he still in office?
Maryann, this is what happens when people make abrasive statements and you don't even just call them to order. This is what happens when inefficiency and gross ineptitude, you don't bring it to book. You don't make them account for statements like this. I come on air and make this kind of statement, Maryann, the next minute I'll be picked and called for interrogation. And the minister is there saying all these things and nothing is being done to him because he's a government appointee. That is so wrong, Maryann. I wonder why whenever we say we are gathering intelligence, we don't see what comes out of it, because even the people that are terrorists, they gather intelligence. They don't even come and shout because they don't believe talk is cheap. They just gather intelligence. They come to where they want to operate, and then bam, they are operating and kidnapping and destroying people. And then our own minister, the only thing he can come and say, Maryann, is that they are not criminals. And he has not been picked.
Thank you very much for calling. All right, 60 seconds, guys. Please keep it short. Hello.
Hi, Maryann.
Yes, good afternoon.
I greet you.
Yeah.
I'll approach you, man.
Go ahead, please.
All right. Okay. Well, you see, I don't know. Matawale is saying some of them are not criminals. You come and tell me what they are. The bandits abducting our school children. And they are saying that some of them are not criminals. I can't understand. They come and explain what they are. If we say, is it how we fight these terrorists? Why I'm making brief for them, saying that some of them are not criminals. People abducting school children, doing all manner of, killings. Yeah? He said that some of them are not criminals. And again, I asked this guy yesterday on interview, Daniel Buala, what is the essence of our NIL linked to our network? In as much as government
they are using Starlink, according to him.
He said they are using Starlink. Can you imagine? And most of them are TikToks. Yes. Is it not funny? Is it how they fight security? And people are dying on daily basis.
Thank you, Rabujuku, for calling. I appreciate it. 60 seconds is all you have, guys. 0201-277-0993. That's the number for you to call. The program is still Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. On X, use the hashtag Hard Fact. What are your thoughts on the big stories for today? For those of you who are just joining us, I'd like to remind you what former senator representing Kaduna State, Shehu Sani, had to say about who these terrorists are.
The terrorists killing people in northeastern part of Nigeria are not from Congo. They are not from Malawi. They are not from Namibia. They are not from Egypt. They are northerners and they are Muslims. The bandits in the northwestern part of Nigeria, they are not from Senegal. They are not from Mali. They are not from Morocco. They are not from Guinea or Guinea-Bissau. They are Fulanis from the northwestern part of Nigeria.
But in a swift change, this is what your Minister of State for Defense says about the so-called bandits.
It's not all of them are criminal. Not all of them are criminal. Because if you know, or maybe if you investigate what is happening or what makes them to take those laws into their hand, some of them sometimes were cheated by so-called Nsakai, and I have to ban completely the Nsakai in my state. The Nsakai, those called vigilante group, who normally went to their settlement, destroy their property and take their animals. You know, so, and, you know, they doesn't have anyone to speak with. So sometimes they are going for revenge. Like if Ntsake attack them, so they will go for the parcels. So that
I'll leave you to make sense of that. 0201-277-09930 0201-465-7190. That's Bello Matawali, by the way. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Maryann. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, very fascinating stories for today. So this is my take. Everything that is in this country is because our memorandum of understanding, which is AKA Constitution, is very, very porous. And I think we as a people should start pushing to get things right from that angle. Because if we correct some of those things, I mean, imagine we profess a secular state, and you have Sharia law that are used to administer justice to some persons, while others are. So everything, whether it's security, food shortage, the problems we're having in education, healthcare, and what have you, and even leadership, I think people should we should stop complaining and start looking at how we can start pushing for some policy changes. We need to start making our institutions strong. And if we get that correct, I think some of all these things will be reduced in mayor's favor. Thank you very much. You're giving a great.
Thank you very much for calling. I do appreciate it. For the ladies, it's 0201-465-7190. And if you're listening from outside of the country, in the diaspora, you're allowed to call us via WhatsApp. It's 08095975805. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Maryann.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Chief Chris.
Go ahead.
Okay, the little thing I want to say is that Matawale has to be sacked with instant alacrity, and he has to submit himself for probe. The president has to do that immediately. He seems to be partisan. That is all. He has to be sacked immediately.
Sorry, when you say he's partisan, I mean, I don't think the bandits own a political party. Or you think he's biased. Anyway, thank you very much for calling. You're not supposed to call the women's line. You're lucky I wasn't looking. Hello. Sorry about that. Do call us back if that was you. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon, Maryann.
Yes, good afternoon.
My name is Robert from Papa.
Go ahead, Robert.
You know, yesterday when you brought that Boala, even though I don't like that Boala because it's not a straightforward person, though I don't want to cause problem yesterday. I told him, I said, being that he's an advisor to the president, he should tell the man to sack Matawale. See, Jesus said he knows Judas was a devil and he appointed him, right? Somebody said there are Boko Haram members who give information, to these people. They are in government. This thing we are talking about is not far-fetched. The people who are there with Tinubu dining and whining with him. You understand? If this man do not filter the bad ones among his cabinet, this issue of banditry and whatever will continue. You understand? The financials are not far-fetched. They are in government. They are in Tinubu government. You should cool down and feed them out. Thank you very much, Maryann.
Thank you very much for calling. Let's take this call from WhatsApp. Good luck. Ngozi is calling us on WhatsApp. I hope I can take that call. Good luck. What's happening? Your call's not coming. What's going on? Please, if you're calling me from the abroad, call me again. I will take it. Sorry, I did not see it. Please call me again. Thank you and God bless. I'm going to go to WhatsApp in a bit to read some of the messages, but I want to take my diaspora callers right now. So please, if you're calling me from the diaspora, I want to take your calls right now. Call me back so I can take your calls, and then we'll go to the messages. Call me back, guys. I'm seeing missed calls. I'm not seeing the calls ring. Call me. Okay? I would love to take your calls. I'm devoting this time to you, my diaspora people. So I'm gonna let the calls come in. All right. While I wait for your calls, okay, I think Good Luck is calling us back. Hello, Good Luck.
Hello, my dear sister Maryann. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Please, I am dumbfounded. The man that I just heard his voice now, can that man be a minister of Federal Republic of Nigeria?
He is indeed a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Don't they have criteria for picking ministers?
Excuse me. The last time I checked, I'm just a bloody journalist. I'm not the president. Don't ask me those questions, sir. Keep it moving.
Okay, please. I heard him saying that the bandit does not have anybody to speak for them. A minister in 21st century. That
the last time I checked, oratory it might not necessarily be a criteria to be a politician.
No oratory. Just like somebody said, speak and spoke. It's just like I just cannot imagine a Nigerian minister and the presidency allow him to remain sitting in that office. He wasn't sacked immediately for brainwashing Nigerians. How can he be defending criminals, bandits, killing people? That they are not criminals, defending criminals? I've never heard that in my entire life. What the hell is going on in our country? Does it mean that some of us cannot come home again because of this kind of things we are hearing?
No one's stopping you. Why are you not coming for Christmas, by the way?
Oh my God. With what I'm hearing...
Come for Christmas. Nothing's going to happen to you. Come and visit me. You'll be fine.
Wait. I want to understand. A minister... It's just like what yesterday I was trying to call you yesterday. I heard Boala. Somebody asked him a very valid question. He never answered. I remember several times I watched him on Channels News what he said about Bola Tinubu. He came on air yesterday and was calling people names. I don't know whether he apologized or he just left.
He refused to apologize. Yeah, but thank you very much. Good luck for calling. I need to take other calls. I appreciate you for calling. I'm taking my diaspora callers, so go ahead and call me. Call me if you are calling from the abroad. Call me. I want to take your calls quickly. All right, so let's take this one. Hello. Welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Mazi. I'm calling from Germany. Good afternoon.
Hello, Mazi.
Yeah. Please, Maryann, is it the first time you're hearing Matawale saying this? Is it your first time? Or is it the first time Nigerians are hearing him? Because I live in Germany. I have heard this man many years ago when he was the governor of Zamfara State saying this. And let me tell you, not only him, Lai Mohammed, former information minister, was interviewed. Why did you proscribe IPOB and the herdsmen not? He said that the herdsmen are not fighting for to separate from Nigeria. That's why they cannot proscribe herdsmen. That is your former minister of information.
Well, at some point they were prescribed as terrorists, so we no longer call them bandits. They're terrorists.
Yeah, but when? But excuse me, these people, even though they are prescribed, you are still calling them bandits. You are still calling them herdsmen.
They're terrorists.
They are prescribed. They are terrorists. And if Nigeria is really fair, these people have, committed havoc across Nigeria.
Very true. Thank you very much for calling. I'm letting you go because of time. I want to make sure all my diaspora callers are part of this conversation. And I'm seeing calls from, I think that's a US number or maybe a Swedish number. I'm not sure. But keep them coming. I'd like to take some of those calls before I go into reading your WhatsApp messages and come back to the phone line. So keep calling my diaspora callers. I want to take your calls. Someone here says, there's a saying that show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are. Or Mr. President's appointment and his cabinet can't tell me otherwise. The names of the sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria are friends and cronies of Buhari's government. The game continues. Those saying Matawale is saying sack Matawale, you're on a long thing. Mr. President can only change their portfolio. Ezekiel from Ejigbo. Please, if you're calling from Nigeria, I will not take your call, so don't bother calling me on WhatsApp, okay? Someone here said, my name is Maryann, not Miriam. Please. So do not call me Miriam. I beg you in the name of God. Smart. Where are you calling me from?
Yeah, Miriam, good afternoon. This is Simon calling from Belgium.
Simon, go ahead.
Yeah, it is very funny to hear what is happening in Nigeria. You know, like what Matawala is saying, that those guys, nobody to speak for them. And that is true. That's why Buhari was speaking for Boko Haram by then. And at the end of the day, those guys, the ministers, the northerners, they're protecting their own. It is only with the Igbos.
Sorry, I don't understand what you mean by Northerners are protecting their own. Northerners were being killed. A lot of people were being killed. So when you say the Northerners are protecting their own, I don't agree with you. Because when you want to categorize the Northerners, there are Northerners that are being killed who are not necessarily protecting those killers.
Yes, I know. Look at the terrorists and the bandits. See how they are protecting them. The former Minister of Defense say no, they cannot fly, and all sorts of flimsy excuses they are giving. But go to the east, they know where Gentle Yahoo this thing is, the camp is. But in the north, they don't know where their camp is. Maryann, who is fooling who?
I don't know.
For how long are we going to fool ourselves?
Thank you very much for calling, Simon. I have to take off the call. 60 seconds. I'm trying to make sure that I accommodate all my diaspora callers. I can take one more diaspora call and then I'll go to the messages. So please call. The person that's calling me Miriam, I will come and fight you. It says, is this still a country? Because in many cases, we have seen you speaking for the government. Now, who's speaking for the government? When did the government appoint me as their spokesperson? All of you that come up with all this very outlandish allegations. I speak for the government. At what point did I become Boala? Jokes. All right, my diaspora callers, I'm waiting. I want to take a few more of your calls. Godwin from Ikorodu says, all I know is that Matawale is a spokesperson for bandits. Okay. This one here says, are we really one and reason as one country? Look at how a whole Minister of State for Defense. Now, wow, Mickey in Ikorodu. Mickey, thank you for your message. This one says, please, my name is Maryann. It's Maryann, not Miriam. Please, or Mariam. I beg you, in the name of God. All right, Chris is calling us from Accra. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Maryann.
I'm good.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay, so please correct me if I'm wrong. I thought this Matawale voice notes, let me put it that way, was when he was governor, because I'm trying to think. This statement was a long while ago, maybe 2 years back, when I heard that statement. To say that it is a recent statement, maybe because what things have happened and those messages keep resurfacing. So to think it's a recent message, I will stand to be corrected if it was what he said recently.
So it's what he said when he was governor.
Okay. So it's good that we put in context that this was what he said when he was governor. That's good. So now for I have to speak for now that he's the president, now that he's the Minister for State. I think if this has surfaced out, the onus lies on him to resign. Then that's number one. Number two, in clearing people what do we do with clearance when they say security clearance before they make appointments? What does the DSS do? Because when people are trying to make defense for Bola Tinubu, somebody else has said that, show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are. Bola Tinubu is aware of all these things and he went ahead to appoint them. So we should not entirely exhibit or exclude him from the blame, because I'm sure that we have a good, thorough DSS. And the DSS must pass this, and this is what this man is supposed to have said.
Okay.
So that's just what I think. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris, for calling. I've got to read some messages now as fast as I can because I'm racing the clock. This one says, what is greater than knowledge is the ability to apply it in our daily lives. Accumulating knowledge without using it is no... Are you sure this message is for me? I don't think it's for me. I think it's for Joyce. This one says, good afternoon, Maryann. General Christopher Musa can't end insecurity without the president's strong willingness to uphold justice, enforce accountability in prosecuting those bankrolling terrorism in Nigeria. And if he must succeed, he must learn to talk less and act invisibly. Adegboyega, you're saying the same thing that my guest, the former presidential candidate of the SDP, said. You can't put out all your, all your tricks in the public view because these guys are watching. You're supposed to take them by surprise, but hey, welcome to Nigeria. All right, let me read one more message here. Fendi Mendieta from Austin, Texas here says, you see all these people in our Congress, they are something else. We don't have a Congress, we have a National Assembly. Okay, are you talking about the US Congress? He says, if Donald Trump wasn't on their neck, you mean our own? You're confusing me. Mendieta, you're talking about our Senate, Abby. If Donald Trump wasn't on their neck, it would have been business as usual. Bow and go. I don't commend the Senate president for nothing. Okay, Mendieta, thank you. This one here says, good afternoon, Maryann. The death penalty should be extended to corrupt officials. Thanks to Trump for clearing Ogogoro from some people's eyes. Matawale should also go for exemption of bandits because all the bandits are criminals. James from Ikorodu. This one here says, can you imagine the Minister of Defense saying the other one, the Minister of State, saying bomb cannot reach where the bandits hide in the forest? Maryann, we are doomed in this country. This one says, this is Triple A from Ojo. Honorable Shehu Sani is a type of good Nigerian who's supposed to be minister. That man who is defending terrorists should be seriously questioned. He is a suspect. He must be one of those who leaked information to the criminals. God will expose them, he says. Okay. Itele from Ogun State, Tahir says, please tell the former chief that his excuses for his bandits is dead on arrival. This is so because if you kill his mother, if you kill your mother only to claim that you were drunk, you had the intention to kill and not the drink. Mwakocha from Itele Ota. Okay, thank you. Gotta go on a quick break. It's just a 1 minute break. Once I come back, I'm gonna take a few more calls and read some more messages. It's still Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info.
More talk, news, and sports after this. Are you finding it difficult listening to your favorite talk radio Nigeria Info via the mobile app? Come closer. Let me fix that for you. Now, launch the app on your device. Click the 3 lines on the top left corner of the app. Look for settings in the drop-down menu and click on it. Turn on the first option that you see. Make sure you turn on the option that says always use highest quality available audio. Now that you have done that, close the app and relaunch it. Voila! I did it! Oh, sorry, you did it. Now you can enjoy your radio anywhere, anytime. Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
The biggest food festival on the African continent is back. It's the Chitiko Food and Drink Festival, wait for it, Holiday Edition. That's right, on Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st December 2025 at the GT Center, Plot 1 Water Corporation Drive, Oniru, Victoria Island, Lagos. The GTCO Food and Drink Festival returns for a special holiday edition. Think mouth-watering street food, retail stores, exclusive chef demonstrations, and master classes. And for the kids, a magical holiday wonderland. The GTCO Food and Drink Festival is for everyone. Your holiday experience starts here and attendance is free. After all, what's a holiday without good food? Don't miss the holiday edition of the GTCO Food and Drink Festival on Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st December at Plot 1 Water Corporation Drive, Oniru, Victoria Island, Lagos. The GTCO Food and Drink Festival, supporting small businesses and promoting enterprise.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
Nigeria's biggest decisions start with the hardest questions, and I'm asking them on Hard Facts 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
We're back. I've got 2 minutes, so I can quickly take a few more of your thoughts. But first, let me take a quick call, and then I'll wrap up with the messages. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon, Maryann.
Yes, good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Bolaji from Ijoku.
Go ahead.
You see, Maryann, we've not been telling ourselves the truth. The truth is now coming out. I think those people who call to defend government, who call to say one thing or the other to praise government on this insecurity, they should be apologizing for those of us who have been very, very truthful. We just wanted to put the history straight so we can all put hands on deck. So this problem can be solved once and for all. You say, when Nigerians, we are looking for our enemies, and our enemies live within. We use we look for our enemy with rifles, with bombs, with this thing, and right inside our house, our enemies are there. So the saboteur, they will call us so many names. Okay. They say, because you are a saboteur. So far, you are not supporting government.
Okay.
You are a saboteur. So far, you are criticizing the government. You are not saboteurs. Those people who are supporting bandits, they are the saboteurs. They are the real enemy of this country.
We gotta go. Thank you very much for calling. I do appreciate it. I got to run through some of these messages. Appointing Chris Musa is a welcomed idea, but Nuhu Ribadu and Matawale must go. John from Ijaniki. This one says, I often wondered where the bandits in Zamfara and elsewhere derive their confidence. Now I know they have people like Matawale in government. AB from Badagry sent us that one. This one here says, my name is Tare from Lekki. Matawale should be sacked for saying that bandits is not all of them that I'm sure you mean it's not all criminals that are bandits. Okay, I get it. This good. Okay, Yvonne, I'm going to stone you. This is good. So all of these politicians will keep saying statements that will expose their incompetences. These terrorist people that use guns to kidnap and kill Nigerians. Chai, what kind of people are these? I gotta go.
This is where it all connects, all in one place.
Trillion naira revenue and 4.68% growth for 2026, but faces a huge 20.1 trillion naira deficit. Debt service will take nearly 30% of the budget, with borrowing covering over a third of spending. Experts warn that without better spending control, Nigeria risks serious economic trouble next year. Meanwhile, global political and business leaders are in Owerri for the Imo State Economic Summit 2025. The
gathering aimed at boosting investment in Imo and across Nigeria has drawn top figures, including President Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, Liberian President Joseph Boakai, former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and ex-UN Chief Ban Ki-moon. Governors Aliko Dangote and other industry leaders are also attending. At the Imo Economic Summit, billionaire Aliko Dangote urged African entrepreneurs to invest locally to attract foreign investors. He said domestic investment shows confidence and boosts the continent's appeal. Dangote also announced plans to expand his refinery to 1.4 million barrels daily and increase fertilizer production, aiming to be Nigeria's biggest producer by 2028. The World Bank reports developing countries paid $741 billion more in debt than they received between 2022 and 2024, marking the largest gap in 50 years. Despite some relief in 2024, debt levels hit historic highs at $8.9 trillion. High interest rates and rising domestic borrowing pose risks, while 56% of people in heavily indebted nations struggle to afford basic diets, highlighting the human cost of mounting debt. The Executive Secretary of Pension Transitional Arrangements Directorate, Tolulope Odunaya, reaffirmed the Directorate's commitment to protecting pensioners under the defined benefit scheme. Odunaya said there is the need for accurate reporting to build public trust, and she praised the media's role in pension reform and pledged stronger collaboration to ensure transparency and improve pension management across Nigeria. And finally, economist Mukhtar Mohammed says Nigeria must boost security for farmers and invest in storage and irrigation to cut food inflation. Speaking on Nigeria Info's Hard Facts, he urged state and local governments to act more decisively. Mohammed warned that insecurity in conflict zones drives up food prices and scares off investors. He stressed that restoring safety in farming areas is vital to lowering inflation and attracting investment. And that's the business news this hour. Thank you for listening. It's back to Hard Facts with Maryann Okon right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. I am Yvonne Okhaifo. Thank you for your time.
Nigeria Info, your number one for news. Always spot on, fresh and direct on 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is your number one station.
99.3.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Are you curious about what's happening in the world of politics? Near and far. Hear from world leaders, experts, news. Are you curious about what's happening in the world of politics beyond your borders? Tune into Global Review as we bring you the latest political stories from across the globe.
Many Palestinians, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, are forced off their land by that conflict. So one starting fact is 5.9 million Palestinians are refugees.
But what we don't realize is that what's happening in the Congo is happening in your backyard as well. 6 million people, over 6 million people are there in the Congo because it's the same conflict, right? In the DRC, we have militia groups, we have neighborhood trees, but why are they fighting? Why people die is to get control of our resources.
Join me, Maryann Okon, as we dive deep into the most pressing issues, uncovering the truth and analyzing the impact on a global scale. From the corridors of power in Washington to the bustling streets of Accra, we've got you covered. We'll take you on a journey through different political systems, exploring the challenges and triumphs of the nations near and far. Hear from world leaders, experts, newsmakers, and everyday citizens as they share their perspective, providing a comprehensive overview of the political landscape. Tune in every Thursday, 4 to 5 p.m. on Hard Facts to be a part of the global conversation on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
It's the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station. We're broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Atimian Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. This is Hard Facts, and I'm Maryann Okon. I did tell you that we'll be talking about the kidnap of school children and how this obviously affects the education in the certain parts of the country, especially the northeast and the northwest of the country, where we're still trying to encourage education, especially girl child education. Sometime last year, I was in Borno State with Education for All to talk about the plight of some girls who were victims of Boko Haram and how they were being able to They were being resettled back into, the school environment thanks to Education for All and Street Child. Today, I'm being joined in the studio to discuss more about what's been happening in these areas and the kidnapping of school children. For those of you who do not know, we're not necessarily in a good place right now because we're being confronted with another wound to our conscience, which is obviously that more school children are being abducted. More families are frozen in fear, and there's evidence that the classrooms are empty. Schools are being shut down, as you know, and certain places have been cordoned off because of these attacks. Now, this hour, we're stepping back a little bit from the breaking headlines to understand the deeper patterns, why schools are being repeatedly under attack. Why do children who have nothing to do with politics, the rivalries, the grievances end up bearing the largest burden? And to help us guide this conversation, I'll be speaking with Maleiha Malik. She is the Executive Director of PEIC, at Education Above All Foundation. She's an international law and human rights expert whose work focuses on protecting education in conflict zones. She understands both the local and global implications of these attacks and where the responsibility actually lies. It's so good to have you join us, Miss Malik. Thank you for joining us on the show, and I think you have quite a resume there when it comes to understanding what's happening, especially in the northeast and the northwest of Nigeria.
Thank you very much for having me on your show, Maryann. I'm really excited to be able to have this conversation and also learn from people on the ground in Lagos where things really matter.
Lovely. When you first heard about these, rise in abductions for school children, especially little girls, what messaging did that send to you, obviously?
Well, we remember when the original Chibok girls were kidnapped, and there was a global outcry. Michelle Obama was involved, and the Chibok girls were featured. And that really was an issue of real concern for us about the potential rise of ideological targeting of the girls. And now to hear these stories again in the context of Nigeria, where, to speak frankly to you and your audience, Nigeria has one of the highest numbers of out-of-school children generally, and girls find it really hard to access education. So to have this additional, if you like, a risk, which, as you said, leads to empty classrooms. It leads to a situation in which teachers are not willing to go in, parents are not willing to set their kids in. That really broke my heart, to be absolutely honest with you, particularly, if I may say, Maryann, because Nigeria has been a champion state on the protection of education from attack. It hosted the Safe Schools Declaration, and Nigeria has the global leadership, has been calling for protection of education. We were really grateful to the First Lady of Nigeria last year, who supported our work on protection of education from attack. She took part in a conference about 10 days ago in Doha, calling for safeguarding education. So some of the components at the level of political federal leadership, at the level of commitment of Nigerians to education, are all in place. So this sort of attack is really tragic.
Let's talk about patterns here, because whether we like it or not, this violence is taking a certain shape. And I thank you for remembering the Chibok girls. But from your work across multiple conflict zones, what patterns do you see emerging in Nigeria's attacks on schools? Because many people would say that we're dealing with something that's uniquely different from what we see in other parts of the country. Is this a Nigerian variant of anything that you've seen in other conflict zones, or is this a familiar global pattern?
So we do see attacks on girls education, and that are associated with forms of Islamist ideology. So we've seen them in Afghanistan, for example, parts of Pakistan. I think what's happening, not just Nigeria, but some other parts in neighboring countries, is that what were originally the Chibok girls as an incident got a lot of global attention. You then have, in our experience and in the research we've done, you have a sort of merging of ideological attacks with criminality, right? With abductions where there is a claim for ransom or extortion that's going on. So that has emerged as a pattern in West Africa, Nigeria, potentially Niger. There are some examples in Cameroon. There are some offshoots of similar attacks that have taken place in Eastern Africa, but it's mainly happening in Western Africa, Nigeria in particular, but also Niger, Cameroon as well.
You talked about the Safe School Initiative and the declaration. Nigeria has, obviously, as you said, committed to Safe School Declaration. In practical terms, what preparations or protections should we be seeing on the ground now? Because you've commended the First Lady, but what do you think are the issues that we're having to deal with, which is exposing our children to more and more of these attacks? And what are the somewhat implementation failures that you've noticed in Nigeria?
So I think at an absolutely fundamental level, actually, if I may say, I think we need responsible leadership at the global level. So, for example, I don't think it was helpful for outside leaders, quite prominent leaders, to actually comment on issues of communal relations within Nigeria without really and making quite provocative statements. So at a global level, we need responsible leadership about what's happening. And I think there needs to be more trust in Nigeria being able to resolve its own issues of relationships between communities. At a federal level, what we need is better law and order. So I think this is partly also a law and order problem of being able to ensure that there's proper security for all people in Nigeria. But, it's not just a law and order problem. I think that there are some learnings we could put into place, some implemented practices, some policies. For example, we need to identify the risk, Maryann, but we need to also not overreact. When there's an attack, we need to shut the schools down or make sure that the girls are safe. But there's no need to shut the schools down forever. We need proper analysis, of how long the school needs to be shut for. Are there alternative policies so the kids can still go to school safely? And also we need early warning systems. So there's quite a lot we can do at a federal level, which is rule of law. The Federal Ministry of Education, I think, can start to look at best practices on making sure that headmasters have better training in identifying and reacting in a cautious way, but still making sure that schools are open. And at a local level, I think we need to work with communities. We need to reassure them, and we need to deal with the root causes of this as well.
Because, like I said, I was with Education for All last year when we went to Borno State to, see what was happening on the ground and how these girls were gradually getting back to, classrooms. And we noticed that there were certain schools that were shut down for a long time.
Interesting.
For example, in Zamfara State, it took the new governor to reopen certain schools in certain areas because they had been shut for such a long time. And you're saying that it's not just this at the state level, that at the global level, we need to see, more leadership. But let's talk about accountability. Where does this responsibility truly sit? Should the Nigerian government be doing something different immediately? I mean, you said don't shut the schools forever, but other than that, in policy, in the meetings that you guys have globally or at the regional level, what is the action that needs to be taken to stop these attacks? Because we can't just keep saying, oh, well, when it happens, shut down the schools. We're being more reactive as opposed to being proactive. What needs to be done?
Yeah, I think it's fundamentally, it's not just a challenge for the Ministry of Education. I think this is also a security issue of safeguarding the schools. It's about the federal policing services, etc., working with the local authorities to identify. I mean, at a certain level, Maryann, this is criminality. It's an international problem, but it's also local criminality. And our research suggests that that kind of ideological attack on education has morphed into a recognition by certain criminal gangs that the abduction of girls could give rise to ransom, and that they can use this as a form of extortion. So to a certain extent, dealing with this as a criminal law problem is also a really high priority. To do that. So I think dealing with it as a security problem with support from the federal authorities for the regions that face this as a specific threat, that's a huge priority. Then putting into place good systems of early warnings, training of head teachers and school teachers, and then working with communities to reassure them that working with them to design safe processes to make sure that they send the kids back to school.
Let's talk about the international community, where you actually fall in that category.
Yeah.
How can the international partners like you support Nigeria without crossing into the territory of dictating domestic policy? Because we're seeing that already with the United States government. What does effective collaboration in your case look like?
It's absolutely crucial. Part of what we do is that we are led by and we listen to our beneficiaries and our partners. Me sitting where I am, I don't know what the root causes are. Nigerians do. Nigerian local populations know what the solution is. So I think the starting point has to be a needs assessment that's based on what people in Nigeria know. And you know something, Maryann? We're all fed up with and no longer want these colonial systems of development aid where people just fly in and expensive consultants fly in and graft on solutions, because we know that doesn't work. So the model that we want to use is to work in partnership with our beneficiaries. We listen to them, we give them voice, and then we find solutions. That's the only way things are sustainable. And Maryann, there's not much money going around. There's been significant cuts in aid. So the international community's capacity to keep pouring money into a situation without there being local situations, firstly, and secondly, structural change that deals with the root causes of the problem. That, the money's limited. We have to find permanent, sustainable, long-term solutions, which means working with Nigerians themselves at all levels to find the solutions. I do believe in global solidarity. I don't think it's just an issue for Nigerians, but we work in a partnership and are led by those who are on the ground.
Can I ask, and this is me being just a little elusive here with the work that you do.
Go on.
What's the level of accessibility that you have with your partners on the ground? How forthcoming, and what's the working relationship? Is it a very cordial and open one so far? And the information that you're being fed, is it as vital as you need it? Can you say that you have a great relationship with the people on the ground? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, we have our projects. We have projects in Kano State, and we've done projects. My colleague has worked closely with the former Federal Minister of Education and with the diplomats, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We work closely with all federal and also state level public officials in trying to find solutions. And we're deeply impressed by their commitment and their transparency and their willingness to try and strengthen policies. And I think that Nigeria could potentially be a very important champion state on this issue. If we can get some models right in Nigeria, including law, but also policy, they have implications for Cameroon, for Mali, for Niger, for the whole of West Africa. So I'm optimistic. We found that there's huge amounts of goodwill in Nigeria to find a solution to this. So we've had very good experiences working with local partners.
Let's talk long-term consequences of these attacks on the children. When children experience violence or kidnapping linked to school, how does this shape the country's future development? I mean, socially, economically, and maybe psychologically.
No, the psychological impact is massive to experience violence in an educational setting or in the family setting. We now know that the impact of violence on children in terms of the trauma they experience is long term. It has a huge impact on their cognitive ability to learn, on their social, emotional literacy, and it has an impact on subsequent cycles of violence by those children themselves. So we need to break this pattern. We need to make children feel safe in schools, which should be a place where they can learn, where they can play, where they can be happy. And when we speak to children, and we speak to children who've experienced conflict, they want to go to school. One of the first things they say to us when they're not in school is, we want to go to school, we want to be with other children, we want to learn, we want to play. We should listen to that children. It's their right. It's a fundamental right to have a happy school life. And from the point of view of the economic development, social economic development and the future for Nigeria, which has huge potential, it has a huge youthful population. The future has to lie in solving these problems, in prioritizing education. We're very concerned about the fact that it has the highest rates of out-of-school children. We're concerned about attacks such as this, and we are taking it very seriously. We are absolutely committed to working in Nigeria to bring down both the numbers of out-of-school children. We have projects on this, but also making the protection of education a priority.
I have very little time before I go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more. But can you quickly just tell my audience what education above all does in Nigeria and wherever else it is, what your impact has been so far in 2 minutes before we go back to our line of questioning?
Yeah, so we've had projects in the past. We have projects at the moment where we design projects to address the need for primary school children to get back into school. So what we do is a needs assessment to identify what the specific barriers are in the region where we operate. At the moment, we've got a very good partnership in Kano, where we're working with the state leadership who've been really welcoming. They've opened up all their facilities. And, it's the business of getting the kids in school, bringing those numbers down in Nigeria and getting them into school, keeping them in school, keeping an ambition about raising quality in terms of literacy, numeracy for those kids. And we're seeing good impact. We get these kids into school. We find that there's a huge commitment in Nigeria throughout, from the children, communities, families, state level, federal level upward, to education. And Nigeria's in a very good situation, in my own personal experience, of having good universities, good educated middle class, lawyers, doctors, people in the media. So it's I think some of the elements are there to work together with us to solve this problem.
Well, Lagos, Maleiha Malik is here with us. She's live via Zoom, joining us from Doha. Are you in Doha?
Yes, from Doha at the moment.
You're in Doha. When we come back, we'll talk about, of course, a call to action, what needs to be done, and, of course, building trust between parents, students, teachers, and, of course, the government. We'll be right back. It's still Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Credible journalism, bridging the gap between people and those in authority. With Hard Facts, you are sure to get only the facts.
Tune in to Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
The biggest food festival on the African continent is back. It's the GTCO Food and Drink Festival, wait for it, Holiday Edition. That's right, on Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st December 2025 at the GT Center, Plot 1 Water Corporation Drive, Oniru, Victoria Island, Lagos. The GTCO Food and Drink Festival returns for a special holiday edition. Think mouth-watering street food, retail stores, exclusive chef demonstrations, and master classes. And for the kids, a magical holiday wonderland. The GTCO Food and Drink Festival is for everyone. Your holiday experience starts here and attendance is free. After all, what's a holiday without good food? Don't miss the holiday edition of the GTCO Food and Drink Festival on Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st December at Plot 1 Water Corporation Drive, Oniru, Victoria Island, Lagos. The GTCO Food and Drink Festival, supporting small businesses and promoting enterprise.
Every meal I cook must taste just right. Rich, delicious, full of love.
We hear you. Your Maggie Star in double cubes. Double the flavor, double the convenience. The same trusted taste you love. Maggie Star Double Cubes. Made from fermented soya and other selected ingredients for that deep flavor and quality that only Maggie brings to your dishes.
Absolutely delicious.
Get Maggie Double Cubes today. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'll be showing you how I make a milky bowl of golden morn.
Yay!
I like to have my golden morn in a bowl first, then pour some warm water. I just stir and watch it turn into milky, nutritious enjoyment.
But when did you add milk?
I'm using Golden Morn 3-in-1, so no need to add milk.
So delicious, Mommy.
Golden Morn 3-in-1 comes with milk inside already. Get it for your family today. Golden Morn. Make every day golden.
This season, your Bet King bet slip can take you further than ever. All the way to the AFCON finals in Morocco. Win an all-expense-paid trip to Morocco, plus 10 million naira in prizes. Place your bets on sports or virtuals from November 1st to December 31st. And your bet slip could be your ticket. Bet King is plenty. Terms and conditions apply. That feeling, that's Bet King.
Come on, Ibe. I hear say we go soon finish to collect our monthly pension alawi.
How man won't take survive?
Alagba. Now wait till I hear be that too.
Now so, my people, but make una no worry. With Cornerstone Annuity Plan, retirees fit they collect their alawi steady till them kaput. If you be retiree with the use Cornerstone Annuity Plan, now every month them go they summer you a lot, pam for your phone. No matter your age, you know fit finish the whole money till you die. Cornerstone, now baba for industry. Them know they tell story on top your monthly pension alawi. Now only death fit stop.
Ibe, oh yeah, make we go Cornerstone Insurance.
It never finish, oh. Even when retiree buy within the guarantee period of 10 years, him beneficiary fit collect him remaining benefits. The process they fast and easy as far as say the proposal form with the deceased retiree sign before he die don't contain all their names. Visit cornerstone.com.ng or call 0201 280 6500 for more tori. Cornerstone Insurance, the future assured.
Keep your engine stronger, cleaner, and more efficient with Gulf Synthetic Oil from GovTech GDI to Formula G and Ultrasynth GDI. Our oils deliver power, protection, and performance you can trust. Trusted nationwide, certified to the highest standards. OEM certified for a number of vehicles. Distributors needed nationwide. Join Gulf family today. Call 0802 300 6839 or visit www.gulfoillimited.com. Gulf Synthetic Oil. Power, protection, performance.
Deck your house with Christmas greetings. Jesus seasons to be landlord. Take advantage, pay installments. 50% discount offer.
Celebration is in the air. It's the Lemon Friday Christmas promo. Bask in joy this season with Adrian Homes and enjoy discounts running up to 40%. Did I hear goodie bag? A 36-month payment spread plus instrumental payment plan on initial deposit with categories starting from 300,000 naira up to 3.5 million naira. Subscribers also get gifts such as a big cow, bag of rice, mini home theater, double-door fridge, and lots more. It's time to mingle with the Christmas jingle. Reach out to us today on 002-284-6321 or 0706-119-4526. Terms and conditions apply.
This house will implement spending cuts on household essentials. First, cable subscription from premium to standard.
Aye.
Now, 3 crowns milk from...
Don't touch our 3 crowns milk, oh.
Why?
Mom sacrifices a lot.
And 3 Crowns milk nourishes mom so that she can support our family.
Moms are our treasures beyond measure. So treasure mom with 3 Crowns milk today. 3 Crowns milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
I'm in love. Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Easy to open, easy to squeeze, easy to scoop and easy to stir.
Sonia tomato mix in a new stand-up pouch.
Yes, so this is Jolly Johnny on the streets. How well do you know Maggi chicken flavor? Oh yeah, spell celery.
S-E-L-A-R-I-E. Celery.
Bro, you want to know to salary? Okay, spell turmeric.
Turmeric.
Yes, so
Turmeric.
Correct. 1 carton of Maggi chicken flavor for you.
My chicken flavor with onions, celery, and turmeric. My game changer.
This taste na banger. This taste na creamy rich. This taste na new Nescafe. Original 3-in-1. Thickness, enjoyment, yumminess, happiness, delightfulness, deliciousness, smoothness. This taste na new Nescafe. Original 3-in-1.
Enjoy more creamy richness with the new Nescafe Original 3-in-1 in the new pack. That's strong. Finish strong.
Guy, I'm in premium tears. My guy sent me pounds from the UK since Tuesday, and the money is nowhere to be found. And to make it worse, he was charged over there, and I will still get charged here.
That's double homicide, oh. So you're still using Trial and Error Express to collect money in 2025? Bro, UBA is the way. No charges to receive. You get your money faster than WhatsApp group gossip. Just drop your UBA account like Mike and boom, you get your payment sharp.
I messed up big time. My guy Paulo will send me something this week. I will just UBA it straight.
With UBA, receiving money from anywhere in the world is fast, simple, and absolutely stress-free. All you need is your UBA account. Send through Western Union, MoneyGram, Ria, Juba, Africash, or PAPS. And boom, you get your funds instantly, direct to your account or at any UBA branch near you. No charges to the receiver.
UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
You don't just vibe to anything, and that's okay. Do you like it hot?
Hit me.
Then go for Mini Me Noodles Ninja Pepper flavored, the spicy rebel. Do you like it fresh?
Smooth.
Then get your Mini Me Noodles chicken and veggies flavor, the fresh gang. Maybe you like to party.
Giggy.
Then you need to have a taste of Mini Me Noodles Patty Jollof flavor, party starter. Or you could be a foodie.
That's it.
And you'll love Mini Me Noodles sloppy chicken flavor, the foodie vibes. Whatever you like, Mini Me's got a flavor for you, so pick your vibe. Mini Me Noodles. Slop life.
Hey, see package. This is what I call Full House.
Yeah, so that's me. I full.
Huh? Who's talking about you? I'm talking about this PEIC yogurt drink Full House pack in your hand.
The PEIC yogurt drink 1 liter Full House pack with more refreshment contains fresh cow milk. Share and enjoy Full House goodness filled with essential vitamins and minerals. PEIC, reach for your peak.
On the streets, they know who the Baba is. We've showed up on major stages, backed the biggest Afrobeat artists, and held it down with big concerts, epic lineups, and of course, amazing refreshment. So, when you hear Baba for the streets, it can only be Pepsi, and that's on period. Pepsi, Baba for the streets. Enjoy more vibes, more bedu, and great tasting refreshments with the Pepsi 60cl PET bottle. Pepsi, thirsty for more.
So, my pregnant wife, Eniola, had her cravings and nothing satisfied her. My neighbor, Mama Amaka, despite our attention, saved the day with amala and abula made with Mr. Chef chicken, all-purpose, and tomato masala cubes. With Mr. Chef, she's my hero.
Savor the taste of culture with a 2-finger crush of Mr. Chef's seasoning cubes. Available in beef, chicken, and crayfish seasoning cubes. Mr. Chef, taste home, taste culture.
Start your day and have a good time.
Kivo Crema.
And where you need to have the break time.
Kivo Crema.
If not tea, or garita.
Kivo Crema.
gifting, feel effortless. Give love, give choice, give freedom to care. Sure Gifts cards are trusted by Nigeria's biggest companies. Delivered instantly to anyone you love. Redeemable at over 200 top stores nationwide. Safe, secure, verified, zero wahala. Make your gifting so easy with Sure Gift. Friends and family, everybody with Sure Gift. Gift your employees proudly with Sure Gift. Give love with Sure Gift card.
Avoid the holiday stress. Visit suregifts.com.ng to send a gift card to anyone you care about instantly. It is secure and redeemable at over 200 stores nationwide.
Welcome to Nigeria Info, where the news sparks conversation.
The Mieti Ala Cattle Breeders Association has condemned the sanctions against them.
We're like a sour soup waiting for someone to warm up. To wake up to the House of Assembly. You have to wake up to the House of Assembly.
All this talk about voodoo is nonsense. If I had any authority, I'll fire
him. The football team is as bad as the economy of the country.
If you listen to both ends of the argument, whether it's the one where there is a genocide or the one where there's no genocide.
So ever since they have been saying they have been defeating and killing and the rest of them, it's like what they are just interested in now is who is coming to their party, who is not coming to their party.
So what will we call this one now? Chibok 3.0?
This is your space to listen, share, and be heard. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
This is Hard Facts.
And yes, on Global Review today, we're talking with Dr. Maleiha Malik. She's the Executive Director of PEIC and Education Above All Foundation. She joins us live from Doha. And we've been talking about, of course, the after effects of these kidnappings psychologically on these schoolgirls and boys, and how we can make create safe spaces for our children to actually be educated. I mean, I'm one of those people who continuously advocate for safe spaces first and foremost for these children to be educated. We can't, on the one hand, be saying we need our children to be educated, but are they safe while they're at school? And that's why we're having this conversation. Thank you so much, Doctor, for staying with us. I did say that when we come back, we're going to talk about, the call to action and, of course, the trust deficit situation that we have, because there are times that in Nigeria, for example, you're on the outside, so you probably might not know this. There are times that the people on the ground give us a totally different story, and the picture that's painted by the government is also totally different. And so people need to be able to trust government and hold on to their every word. How do we rebuild trust? What does it take for families, most importantly, who've been affected by these kidnappings, and some of them lose their children at the end of the day, and then the communities who are also being hit by these kidnappers? How do we rebuild trust within those communities in terms of trying to let their children go get an education, especially when they live in these areas that are hardest hit? How do communities recover from this repeated trauma?
This is really importantly linked to an earlier question or conversation that we had, Maryann, which was about how do we listen to people on the ground? How do we find solutions? We did a project along with the Global Coalition to Protect Education from Attack in Côte d'Ivoire, where there had been huge amounts of conflict. And what we found there was that we started from the bottom up. Actually, we did a project where we talked to the kids themselves. And we talked to them about what school means to them. A lot of them were conflict affected. We then started with that, and we formed clubs. We talked to the teachers. We brought the parents into the school to try and talk about how do we deal with this problem. We listened to them. We heard from them. We often, in quite difficult circumstances, brought two communities that were in conflict into the school together. And what worked there was that we first brought one community into the school, got them to build trust with the teachers. Then we built the other community into the school, got them to build trust with the teachers. Then we got the teachers to invite both sets of communities into the same space to talk to them. And it worked really well, Maryann, because one thing that these two families, these communities shared in problem is that they love their children. They will want their children to be educated. So I think bottom-up approaches do and can work. We worked with head teachers to help them work out solutions of how to address problems of attacks. Some of the parents said to us, well, actually, it would really help if we set up groups and the kids go to school together. This would work. And it did bring the incidence of attacks on children and the willingness of parents, especially parents of girls, to allow their girls to travel what are in places like Nigeria, often long distances, right? To be able to get to school. So we find that bottom-up approaches worked really well. And that builds the momentum, the mobilization, the empowerment to then approach the different levels of government. Nigeria is a complicated, large country. You have different layers of community governance. You have state-level government. Often the communication between the state and federal authorities is not as clear as it should be. And some of the most marginalized communities find it difficult to have a stake in getting their interests represented. So I think it requires multiple level intervention at all these levels. So that's one thing. I think the other thing is something that you mentioned earlier as well. You can't replace a commitment to norms, right? To standards. And Nigeria signed up to the Safe Schools Declaration. We already have that norm, and communicating that, distilling it down is really important. There's a role for independent media, such as you, for journalists, to make it clear. And that message really that needs to go out from parents upwards is that we're always going to have conflict. You know, I come from the UK. There are issues around security there. The thing is, what we have to communicate is even during conflict, schools are not a target. Teachers are not a target, and school children are not a target. So I think communicating that, saying this is a global, but it's also an ethical commitment that we make, I think that is a good start. And I think all parts of Nigerian civil society, including journalists like you, have a part to play in that.
I'd just like to let a few callers call in and you know, register their concerns or ask you questions. Lagos, the phone lines are open. We're also live on YouTube. I can see some of you posting on our live stream. 0201-277-0993. For the ladies, you also have a number, 0201-465-7190. You could join the conversation on WhatsApp if you're listening from the diaspora. It's 0809-5975-805. We're talking about safe spaces for our children and, of course, to avoid a repeat of some of these kidnappings. 0201-277-0993, 0201-465-7190. Doctor, if you were to outline 3 urgent steps today to protect our schools in high-risk regions, what would they be?
Action at the federal level, which is action at a security policing level to strengthen policing and security in these particular regions, which is an obligation of the federal state to be able to do that. Secondly, to work with head teachers, to work with the federal but also the state Ministry of Education to have early warning systems in place to learn to identify risks, schools at risk. And the third one would be a response plan. So that when there is an attack that takes place, what is the optimal response? How can we minimize disruption? How can we put in place online schooling potentially and spaces where schooling is disrupted for a minimum period of time? I think these are practical steps that could be taken tomorrow.
Lovely. Well, Doctor, unfortunately, that's all the time that I have. I want to say thank you so much, Dr. Malik, for joining us on Global Review today to talk about this. And I'm hoping that you keep doing the great job that you're doing, of course, in Nigeria and around the country, around the world, especially on the African continent. Dr. Maleiha Malik is, of course, of education above all, and she joined us live from Doha. Thank you so much once again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Maryann. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Well, Lagos, we'll take a quick break. Kemi has some information for us. Right after that, we will be going into our conversation on the big hard facts. Today, we're talking about these kidnappings, these terrorist attacks, but then from the perspective of the people who are victims. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Journalism, bridging the gap between people and those in authority. With Hard Fact, you are sure to get only the facts.
Tune in to Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Actually, Maryann is the one at work. When you see me laughing like this, when I'm supposed to give you gist, just know that Maryann has dropped 1 or 2 weddings that must not be heard in the outdoor. Yes. Weddings. Horrors. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Lagos. Before I get distracted, let me tell you this one is from Jobberman, okay? If you are ready to walk beyond borders, you're ready to break into the global remote workforce, okay? Whether you're a talented professional or an employer searching for remote ready talent that can compete in the global world stage, well, this is your moment, okay? It's the Jobberman Remote Workfest 2025, and it's happening live on Thursday, the 11th of December 2025 at the Landmark Event Center, Lagos. Now, this is not just another festival. It's your gateway to global opportunities. Here you can connect with remote first employers, attend game-changing masterclasses, get interviewed on the spot, and discover skills and tools that you, my dear, would need to thrive in the future of work. Now we have over 2,000 professionals between 18 and 35 years. All right, women and persons with disabilities are also included. It's going to be one powerful day, limitless possibilities. And if you are in tech, design, marketing, customer success, that's customer service, all right, virtual assistants, there is a seat at the table for you to, yes, tech, design, marketing, customer service, virtual assistants, there's also a seat for you at this table. So do not sleep on this. Don't even close your eyes twice. All right, visit jobberman.com/remote work fest. All right, that is jobberman.com/remote work fest as one word. Okay, that's REMOTEWORKFEST. Okay, remoteworkfest.com. All right, that's where you go. Jobberman.com/remote work first to get your free tickets. So yes, this event is completely free. There's no price whatsoever attached to this. All right, all you need to do is go now and register. Jobberman.com/remote work first. Okay, so when you get to that site, register and attend because it is free. Save the date, spread the word, and show up ready to level up your career. This is brought to you by Jobberman Nigeria in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation. And don't forget, it's the Jobberman Remote Workfest 2025, and it's happening live on Thursday, the 11th of December 2025. So why are you going to be on the 11th? What are you using your time to do? You don't know? Well, I'm giving you gist already. You better ask fast. Landmark Event Center. Save the date and be there.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Fact. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories, you know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
There's a reason why over 1 million people tune into Hard Facts every day. We discuss in-depth stories with sources behind the facts.
The Lagos State High Court has convicted, suspended the Chicago certificate story is never going away, is it? Show with stories for the day.
You hear diverse voices and opinions.
And she was meeting campaign with her husband, knowing that. You should not feel happy because there is nothing to happy about.
Yeah, it's quite pathetic the way the country is going.
We distinguish each story accurately with analysis.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Credible journalism, bridging the gap between people and those in authority. With Hard Fact, you are sure to get only the facts.
Tune in to Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Not many can serve you the way we do.
We go all the way. You guys are always keeping your voice down when you're benefiting from the government.
I think you back before that monkey swallowed billions of naira. This one now, stop and we don't swallow billions.
Then my landlord gave me this notice because I decided to go and vote my opponent.
Is it Nigeria the only country in this world that everything they do, they will do it upside down?
It's 99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk. It's not just the news or information.
It is more than you ask for.
What we ask when we got says this organization is meant to help us out, and the people working there are not helping us out.
You have a situation where people say it's normal that if your husband doesn't beat you, then he doesn't love you.
Where madness seems to be normalized, you will become mad.
And more of the rush you just can't stop.
It's the station for more talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Not many can serve you the way we do.
We go all the way. You guys are always keeping your voice down when you're benefiting from the government.
I think you back before that monkey swallowed billions of naira. This one now, stop and we don't swallow billions.
Then my landlord gave me this notice because I decided to go and vote my opponent.
Is it Nigeria the only country in this world that everything they do, they will do it upside down?
It's 99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk. It's not just the news or information.
It is more than you ask for.
What we ask when we got